Hi guys, we're Design Boys. I'm Alexander Arkari. This is Ludwig Kristiansson, Samuel Norber, and Norup, and Linus Brorsson. So together we're Design Boys. So we represent the Nordic region in this challenge, and we all come from the same university, Lund University, and we have a specialization of, unlike many others, which is engineering, we are industrial designers. Back in the days when we were trying to make mock-ups of our products to show for presentations, we had to go down in the workshop and actually use lathes and milling machines to make them. And that is good, but it's not suitable for all parts. You can only get, for example, a radius on a corner. You cannot get a curve on a corner. Do you want a slight bend over a surface? You cannot get that without rapid prototyping of some sort. So that's where 3D printing comes in, which is really, really helpful for our education. So we can basically design one thing one day, leave it for the night, and then test it the next morning, which is super convenient for us. We have a 3D printer in school, and we're taught how to make some basic 3D printing. We three all own personal 3D printers, so we have some experience previous to that, and that really helps in school to make things really fast and work efficiently. We made a tiny forklift which drove around, which you can see here, which drove around the court, and the task was then to pick up the box and then carry it further. So this is our little creation. So it's basically a forklift truck without forks, you could say. So since the boxes were standardized, they already had small mounts on them, and we can use 3D printing in this case to measure the exact dimensions of the gaps in the boxes, and then fabricate specially tooled hooks for the specific boxes, which was really helpful instead of trying to find parts that sort of fit it. We just fabricated our own. And then the chassis is entirely 3D printed, as well as some mounts for the motors to sit tightly. So basically, as when you need something custom fitted, why just not make it yourself instead of try to find something else that sort of works?
Hand controller as well?
Yeah, and since we're industrial designers, we care about the overall experience of this. So we actually made a controller in the same form language. We made a controller, and we made a housing for it to make it easier to control the parts. And down the line, a few parts were faulty from that we received, so we had to change it up. But I mean, we did this in 20 minutes, CAD'd this, and then had it for print. Then we programmed, and then just grabbed the print, and we continued. Previously, we have had experience with professional printer like MakerBots and stuff, and I think all of us have built our own printers, if I'm correct. So we know the low end of the market, or the harder version, or less user-friendly. And now I think this is the third version of the market, which is, to be honest, quite weird, because we're very used to things not working at all. Yeah. And when you guys told us we have 7 3D printers, okay, I was just like praying for you to nothing to go wrong. I was just waiting for mayhem to happen, because to have this as a competition as well would in my mind be just stupid, but this is incredible because it works really good. And yeah, I can't find like negative parts about it. No, this was really good, because the prints were done
really fast and
really fast, and the transferring system was really good as well. In school, we use SD cards, which, as a common saying, they don't exist, because they're always in the other classroom, so you can't find it. But transferring this like through the cloud was like super good. To be honest, and remember this is not a paid review, I want this. No, but seriously, it was trouble-free. Personally, I like the overall system because I think, as you mentioned to us, schools buy 3D printer, but they're not used to the technology, and then they don't know how to like distribute responsibility or material or whatever. I don't know what you guys think about it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like they told us here, they use this as a complement to regular printing. That you have the same card when you're going to print paper or you're going to print 3D. So it's a relatively easy system, I think.
Yeah. No, but the main, as you said, the main feature is like the overall thing, and as we noticed, sort of trouble-free. I couldn't figure out like it's not we're not used to no problems.
Yeah.
So
nothing went wrong, basically.
No, but
yeah, all the prints came out fine, and
yeah,
we didn't have to print anything again, and it was just good.
Yeah, sure. The printer is aimed towards school specifically, and compared to just shoving a MakerBot on a workplace and then saying, "Oh, we got a 3D printer," I think this is sort of needed, if I'm correct.
The entire system around
Yeah,
it.
because people, since 3D printing is relatively new, people don't really know partly what it is and partly how to tackle it or handle it. Should I do it? Should you do it? Should everyone, like now, for example, when you got 2D printers, like just inkjet printers, people know that, okay, I can send you off and you can print because nothing will explode. But with these things, people think you're gonna, like, I don't know, teleport to another dimension if you press the wrong button. I don't know, but if it's like people don't really know what it is, and this like closed enclosure locks and stuff, I think it for schools. So regarding this beautiful syringe, which we sort of jerry-rigged to it, the story behind that is 16 minutes prior to the deadline, the servo that was driving the system short-circuited, so we had no servo to work with. So I think Ludwig just ran out of the room, and the shop closed 1 minute or 15 minutes before, and he just screamed, "I want a syringe and a tube!" And he got it, and we mounted it on, and we had a working backup, which was it was not as good as the original, but we managed to lift the box and carry out more than without. So yeah, that was a fun story.